Roman Babisher with another fragrance video. This time, my top 5 fall 2018 fragrances. First off, I really want to say there were a lot of fragrances that I really wanted to put in this list. I have a couple honorable mentions. This could have easily been a top 10 video, but I really wanted to be a top 5 just because all my other top seasonal fragrance videos were a top 5. So I'm just going to start off with my honorable mentions all at once. Alright, so for my honorable mentions, I have 3 spicy fragrances. That'd be Mugler's Taste of Fragrance, Hugo Boss Bottled, and Montal Wood and Spice. So these 3 are definitely in the same genre. They're very fresh, they have a certain sweetness to them, and they're also spicy. Very spicy, fresh kind of fragrance that's very generic. But I think the one out of these 3 honorable mentions that is most unique is the Taste of Fragrance, because it takes on a very different kind of a spice compared to many other ones. But there is definitely one that I really enjoy that beat these 3, as much as I do enjoy them. Also have Pure Malt by Terry Mugler and Polo Red. Both of these are very sweet fragrances, but they didn't quite make it to my top 5. And then we have Club de Nuit Intense Man. This is, of course, a clone of Creed Aventus. I prefer this over Creed Aventus. That's why I have this bottle. My honorable mentions. These are all very good fragrances, but they're not the ones that I'll be reaching for this fall. Perhaps in the future, I will be reaching for them more often. Alright, for my top 5, there's no particular order necessarily, but they are definitely all in a different genre of fragrances, and therefore they definitely do their job. So again, in no particular order, the first one is Givinchy's Xeryus Rouge. So this one is definitely a unique fragrance in the fact that it's very well blended for something that's so fresh and sweet. It's not quite like your Tonka or vanilla bomb. At the same time, it's very fresh, but there's definitely something uniquely fresh about this fragrance that really does stand out of the crowd. At the same time, there's something so familiar with it. That's why it's kind of like when I can't necessarily pick what I want to wear, this is definitely a good one that I'll probably be reaching for a lot, just because it's very safe and at the same time very unique for the type of fragrance it is. This next one in my top 5 fragrances for fall is Jacques Fath pour Homme. In my review, I did mention it's a great spring fragrance, but I do believe as the more I smell it, the more I use it, I find that it also does very well in the fall. For very much the same reasons. That warmness that it gives, it's very appropriate for the colder days, but at the same time it is definitely something that sits closer to the skin after a few hours, so you can spray it on and it won't choke anyone out at this. So it does well on the warmer fall days and on the cooler fall days, because it just brings that warmth on those cold days. It definitely is a staple for a fougere. The next fragrance for my fall list is Mugler's Pure Tonka. Really any of the Pure line would do, but I think this year this is the one I'll be reaching for the most. This one is a very beautiful blend between Tonka and coffee. For anyone that's looking for a Tonka fragrance, this is definitely one that you should check out. For me, I think this is one I'll be reaching for the most out of the Pure line. The next fragrance is Amouage Interlude Man. This is one that I really enjoy. I've been actually kind of saving it specifically for the fall, just because I think this is actually probably the perfect season to wear it. It's the smoky, sweet, woodsy kind of a fragrance, and that smokiness just really amazing. So I'll be reaching for this quite often this fall, and this is why Club de Nuit Intense Man didn't make on the list, because this I find that is a much better smoky, woodsy fragrance compared to that. And Aventus in general, I know a lot of people are gonna disagree with me on that, but I do enjoy this one a lot more than those Aventus and Aventus clone fragrances. Alright, last but not least for my top 5 fall fragrances for 2018 is Mugler's Bmen. Now this is a refill bottle. I don't have a regular bottle, and this is one that's discontinued, just be aware of that. But I really enjoy this one. This is probably one of my favorite fragrances of all time, just because the way the spices and the woods just come together, it's just so unique and so amazing to me anyway. This is kind of like the little brother to Amen, and honestly I think they did just as good of a job with this one as Angel Man. It's very different and yet similar. It is definitely unique, even within its genre of woodsy, spicy fragrances. There's definitely a certain freshness to it, but more than anything is just this woods and spices, and the spices in this just are amazing in my opinion, and so I'll be wearing this quite often. Of course, very selectively wearing it because of how unlikely that I'll be able to get more as the years go by. That's it, you guys. That is my top 5 fall fragrances for 2018. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and comment on this video. Let me know what you guys think and what are your top fragrances for 2018 as for the fall. And if you haven't already, please subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. God bless.